everyone. I would like to introduce myself. This afternoon session we'll have a session on Microsoft Azure 101. This is just an overview for everyone's knowledge so that they get familiar on the Microsoft Azure. Okay, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is John Pagirigan. My current role is a systems engineer at the private institution here in Singapore. I've been working 9 years in Singapore, 6 years in the Philippines, a total of 15 years. I'm currently the VP for Education for ICPEP Singapore. And I previously headed the committee head of ICPEP Singapore when we were doing the startup, me and included with President Ryan. I'm also a graduate of Central Colleges of the Philippines in 2002. My current certification is I'm an MCT by profession. This one is my other role. And then I got my, if you can see my PowerPoint slides, if I'm also a Microsoft certified 365, more on the messaging. And I'm also a certified on Azure as the administrator associate. If you see my track record, I've been into the certification track since 2008 when I started my certification in Microsoft XP. And I also have other certification such as ITIL since 2014. And currently, this year, I just finished my version 4. If any you want to learn more, you can actually go to my LinkedIn profile. And then it's available there. I put it on the link. And also, I have my Facebook page also. Okay, then we start. Okay, first thing, what is cloud computing? Cloud computing simply puts, cloud computing is delivering computing services, including server, storage, database, network, software, analytics, and intelligence over the internet. They so called it the cloud. To offer faster innovation, flexible economy scales, you typically pay only for the services you use, helping you lower operate costs and run your infrastructure more efficiently. Okay, sorry about that one. Second is, what's the benefit of the cloud? If you notice right on the screen, I have put on these slides, right? The benefits of the cloud is, first thing is the cost. Second is the speed. And then it's globally scaled. If globally scaled, it means that everyone will be able to access it. Productivity-wise, sometimes we need to think about our servers also. There are some typically setting up a server farm is not that easy when it comes to forking up money. And you need to think of the company costs also. Performance-wise, we also need to do in this way because of the cloud computing world is nowadays it's vastly moving forward for expanding services, right? Efficiency, include reliability also, and security. Okay. Types of cloud computing. There are 3 types of cloud computing. First is the public cloud. Public cloud are owned and operated by third-party cloud service providers. Cloud service providers such as Microsoft, Google, IBM, AWS, and Alibaba. They usually provide these cloud services. For the cloud services, usually, like Microsoft is an example of a public cloud. With a public cloud, all hardware services and other services infrastructure is owned and managed by the cloud provider. You can only access the services and manage your account using a web browser. This is one that Azure is currently doing. And then another type of cloud, it's a private cloud. A private cloud refers to cloud computing resource used exclusively by a single business or organization. A private cloud can be physically located on the company's on-site data center. Some companies also pay third-party service provider to host their private cloud. A private cloud in which the service and infrastructure are maintained on the private network. Okay. Most commonly nowadays, for cloud computing, this is the most, a lot of people do this. They use the hybrid cloud. It's combining the public and private. They are bound together by technology that allows data and application to be shared between them by allowing data applications to move between private and public. A hybrid cloud gives a business greater flexibility, more development options, and help optimize your existing infrastructure, security, and compliance. Okay, there are such types of cloud services that IaaS, they called, is PaaS, or platform as a service, and the lastly is software as a service. Okay, infrastructure as a service. The infrastructure is most the category between this. It's you're renting the IT infrastructure. You're actually putting your servers on the cloud, and you're only setting up virtual machines, including storages. You're just renting out this, and then you just pay your provider pay as you go basis. Okay, on the platform as a service. Platform as a service refers to cloud computing service that supplies on-demand environment for developing, testing, delivering, and managing software applications. This is an example of what's this? It's an example for those mobile apps also. Easy to develop. Developers can quickly create their web or mobile apps without worrying, setting up, and managing underlying server infrastructures, like for storage, network, and database needs for development. Okay, software as a service. Okay, software as a service is a method for delivering software applications over the internet. An example of this software as a service is yung Office 365. Office 365 is a software as a service. It's only a subscription base where cloud providers host and manage the software application underlying infrastructure and handled by maintenance like software updates, security patching. Users connect to the application over internet, usually with a web browser on their mobile phone, tablet, or PC. This example is, a while ago ay sinasabi ko ito kasi nowadays lahat tayo ay nagmo-move sa cloud. Mostly ang cloud service natin, it's lahat ng applications such as Office. Yung Office suite natin ngayon, it's nagiging software as a service. Usually, kumukuha lang tayo ng serbisyo ng Microsoft. Okay, uses of cloud computing. Usually, the cloud computing nowadays, it's lumalaki na siya. Hindi na siya katulad ng dati. And then, mostly, nagre-create na din tayo, nagde-develop tayo ng mga apps natin through the cloud. Like, for example, mobile apps, web, usually, ginagawa na to through cloud. Like for example, yung mga applications natin, dine-develop na rin through cloud. Like yung pag-store ng mga data through cloud also. And then, mostly, yung mga data natin, they are really secure when it comes to, for security-wise on cloud. And then sometimes we have video streaming, audio streaming is also on the cloud na rin. Delivery ng software on demand, such as yung Office, such as yung Microsoft Dynamics. Mga application actually na build na rin through the cloud. And then syempre, pagte-test, And then we need to analyze yung data, which is importante sa atin when it comes to such as machine learning or artificial intelligence. And then yung embedded intelligence, this model will engage customers to provide valuable insights from the data captured. Okay, this one I'll explain ang difference ng CAPEX and OPEX. Capital expenditure this one is the first thing that we need to consider when we building a server farm, or we need to spend some money regarding on pagse-set up ng server farm or yung mga expenditures natin sa office when it comes to IT budget. Mostly, dito tayo nag-i-spend ng initial cost, which is companies mostly yung mga expenses natin, it's mostly ito yung mga upfront costs natin sa mga companies. For now, right, I actually didn't put a slide for this because I want to put in detail later dun sa mga questions nyo. This one will be, if you have questions later, I'll just will put it later on the last part. Okay? Ang difference nitong dalawa, unang-una, yung capital expenditure yung initial cost ng IT equipments natin or IT budget natin. Then from time to time, we have a dense of expanse time na pwede natin gamitin lahat yung like for example, nag-initial cost, may binigay sa yung company mo ng budget. Yung budget na yon, syempre, as capital expenditure, yun yung initial cost ng project mo, which is lalaroin mo yung budget mo that time. Once, on a yearly basis, that will do your operational expenditure. Operational expenditure is you're spending money every year and then binibuild ka. Kasi dito, naglalaro, if you're doing cloud implementation, on a yearly basis, you'll get ibibill ka nila, or you have to pay the service as you use. Okay, we'll start with Microsoft Azure. Sorry guys, if I'm too fast, just let me know. Okay, Microsoft Azure. Azure is a cloud platform that over 100 services that enables you to do everything from running your existing application on virtual machines to explore new software paradigms and such as intelligence bots and mixed reality. Marami tayong services kasi on Azure din, like compute, database service, identity, network, storage, AI learning, and such many more. Okay, ang Azure, there are, on the Azure architecture, which is, ang Azure din ay may per region. What is region? Region is a geographical. I'll explain this later. Region is a geographical area on the planet containing at least one, but potentially multiple data centers that are nearby and network together with a low latency network. Azure intelligently assigned and control resource with each region to ensure workloads appropriately balanced. On this picture, right, of Azure data center regions, there are, if you know, there are 100 plus data centers actually. Yung iba hindi naka-disclose actually. Ito, it's just what I see on the Microsoft website. This is the number of Azure available regions, which is everyone you can actually provision server farms in per location. Depends on how you want to set up yung Azure virtual machine mo. Paano maging high high availability mo. Okay, sometimes they have SLA then for depends on the software that you want to implement or you want to have the software service. Okay, this is on this slide, right? I have put here on how to set up actually yung Azure account. Paano ka makakuha ng free Azure account for 12 months. You can actually follow this information. To all the participants, magtatanong lang po ako. Mabilis po ba ako? You can unmute your mic if needed po.
Okay naman, sir. Hindi naman.
Sir.
Okay. Ito po kasi yung procedure po ng paanong paggawa po nung unang initial po ng Azure account. Once you have completed the details, once you have completely filled up the details for the Azure account, then we can actually do it. Ito po yung unang page na makikita ninyo. Ito po yung makikita ang unang page nyo sa site. May quick starter on how to build, create a web app, set up a virtual machine, deploy a container, set up yung database. Ito po yung pinaka-general ng information. Like the first one is yung manage groups, resource groups, marketplace, service health. Service health, this information is, ito po yung mga service level ng Microsoft. If for example, like for ours, you're using Office 365, you would be able to see if there's a service down. Mostly ito yung important part for any services ng Microsoft. You have to check here. And then we have some free services also available. Then meron po tayong subscription, which is usually we buy this subscription from our vendors. And then cost and billing. And then we can actually have a support with Microsoft also. And then we have templates. Okay, understanding yung Azure billing. Okay, for this type of managing yung resources natin, syempre meron tayo need to have yung subscription. Yung subscription, depends kung anong type na environment yung kailangan mong gawin. If you want to have a development, meron tayong testing environment, meron din tayong for production environment. Usually for me, I would actually set up a testing environment before I do some implementation sa aking production. If anything, at least I will be able to understand kung magkano yung cost, magkano yung magiging expected na charges dun sa Azure na ginagawa ko na project. Organizational structures. This is a created subscription to reflect yung different organizational structure. Example, you want to limit yung cost nung sa team mo. Like for example, nagde-develop sila ng application, you can actually limit the cost while allowing yung full range of the IT department. Any implementation they can do as long as yung cost na magawa nila. And then it designs allow you to manage control access to the resource that users provision within each subscription. Okay, yung billing naman natin dito will also create additional subscriptions for your billing purpose because costs are first aggregated at the subscription level. You want to create subscription to manage the track costs based on your needs. For instance, you want to create a subscription for your production workload. And then syempre meron tayong development saka testing workloads. Okay, para makita natin yung actual pricing cost ng isang, nakikita nyo ba po yung link?
Yes.
Ito po yung ito po yung pricing calculator. This pricing calculator is you can actually take a look kung magi-implement ka ng VM, kung magkano yung upfront cost. Depende po kung magkano po ilalagay natin, kung sang region, kung ano OS, syempre ilang virtual machine, then sa usage. Depende po yung instance na gagamitin nyo kasi may per hour po siya. This one, dapat tayo ng isang mahal yan per hour. West region. Set tayo ng Southeast Asia. East Asia. OS computing, 1 core. Ito yung instance. Depende kung ilang core yung server. Then, syempre, isang virtual machine. Syempre, gaano katagal natin patatakbuhin siya? Within 12 months, 6 months.
John, we cannot see anything, just your slide.
Oh, wait, sir. Sorry, sir, hindi ko na-share yung... Kita nyo?
Okay. Okay, yes, we can see now the site. So this site is what?
Aling site. Ito, sir, nakikita nyo yung virtual machine?
Yes, yes, correct.
Itong pricing calculator? No.
Virtual machine default directory.
Wait, sir. Mali yung na-share. Share screen. Ayan, sir. Nakikita nyo na po?
Right, that's great.
Okay. Ito po yung pricing calculator. Pricing calculator is this site where you can actually check the prices before you implement a virtual machine. Like even databases, you can actually check here first before you do the implementation para ma-estimate nyo na yung upfront cost at saka yung monthly cost ng isang virtual machine. Kasi syempre, we have to consider if pay as you go, we have to multiply yung average per month. Syempre, per hour ang charging nila. Then we have to include yung license. Since wala tayong OS license, we have to meron silang upfront na charge. This is where you can find your, yung mga products na kailangan natin implement, like mobile, if we want to set up what's this? A mobile cloud. We can actually check here kung magkano yung cost. Kung magkano yung gagastusin natin dun sa cost ng web. Then we can actually purchase, but we need to contact our Microsoft sales. Let's continue back sa Azure. Okay, yun yung pricing website so that you will be able to calculate kung magkano yung cost ng isang virtual machine or yung implementation na kailangan yung gawin. And then, ang support ng Azure, they have a 24/7 na may access kayo for the online documentation. Then, syempre, we have the community support and new capabilities ng Azure meron din available on YouTube. Created by Azure engineers, these demos are available on Azure Friday. Azure Friday is a site where you can actually get the information from Microsoft also. Those specialize in Azure. And then, syempre, meron tayong Microsoft Mechanics and Azure how to video playlist. And then, if syempre, as an Azure customer, yung free yung support nila available as we are. Okay, support plans ng Microsoft. Ang offers ni Microsoft is customers are reactive, proactive technical support. Choose the plan that meets the needs. You can actually purchase ng support plan from Microsoft on their Azure website or yung Azure portal. And then, syempre, makikipag-work ka sa partner to assist them if you have, like, for example, yung recent na nangyari sa amin, we have to contact yung Azure, yung Office 365 support para sa assistance. And then sila yung makikipag-engage. And then there's a support plan. Slides again. Share. Okay. Ito po yung support plans, which is merong basic na support, then merong developer na support. Ang cost niyan is 29 USD. The same with the standard support, at saka yung professional direct. Siyempre, medyo mahal yan kasi depends on the business. For education-wise, different din yung support boundaries and support plans din from Microsoft. Like yung sa amin sa institution, actually we can report it, but usually they respond back within 1 hour through mail. And yeah, through mail is 1 hour, 6 hours to 13 hours for yung response back ng technical support ng Microsoft. Next is, ito po yung Azure Community. Whereas yung community natin, marami tayong pwedeng kuhaan ng mga information like yung Azure Knowledge Center, Microsoft Tech Community, Stack Overflow, Server Fault, Azure Feedback Forums, and Twitter. Twitter also may mga information regarding on Azure. You can actually check the website for this information. Okay, okay, for this session, I will set up initial, is that one? Okay, mag-testing ako. Actually, this one is an initial test. Oh. Share. Wait lang po. Ayusin ko lang yung share. Okay, ito yung example ng Azure pag login mo for the first time. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a virtual machine in Azure. Okay? Unang-una, punta tayo sa virtual machine. Then I will add. I need to put there, yung unang-una is yung subscription ko. Ito yung pinaka-initial. Second is, kailangan natin maglagay ng resource group. Ito, any name that you can actually choose. For example, I'm going to create new one. Let's say this one is test 1. Then the next step is kailangan kong maglagay ng name for the virtual machine. This is then syempre ilagay muna natin yung region is US, this one. And then syempre lalagay natin kung yung type ng image na gagamitin natin. Okay, like for example, Windows. I will use Windows. And then syempre yung this size will be standard. Let's use standard muna for yung tier. Actually, pwede nating i-change ito. Depends. Initial muna tayo. Then syempre we have to put yung ating username password. Kailangan at least 12 characters. Okay, then we need to allow yung ports. Add yung port 80 and port 338. This one for the initial. And I have to click on next. And syempre, choose tayo kung anong type ng it's either standard na hard drive. We'll try premium SSD. And create this. Okay. Next para sa network. Sa network, this one, we can actually change the default value. Depends on your subnet na gagamitin. Click next for the management. Management, since this is a free plan, just click syempre yung default lahat natin. Next. Then last, this one, syempre generation 2. There are two types of generation when setting up VM. Usually we start with Gen 2. Click next. Wala ko ilalagay na tayo. Missing. Ano yung missing natin? Oh, okay. Ilagay natin dito ng value. Yung management. Balikan ko. Oh, sorry. Available. Create na lang natin ng new. Then, type natin is S. Okay. And click next. I'm set up there. Okay. Now it's provisioning the virtual machine for our initial part of our first Azure. Okay. Then actually pwede natin i-download yung template para pwede kang mag-automation din. Ito ang sample script na para pwede mo siyang gawin through PowerShell. We can actually save this one. Download yung template for future use. Okay, now we can go back to our home. Tingnan natin yung virtual machine natin. Where is my virtual machine? Virtual machine. Oh. Subscription 1. Nasaan na ba yun?
Okay, John? Okay. Nawala yung virtual machine mo?
Nandyan, sir. Wait.
Okay. Baka na-delete kasi.
Hindi. Nandyan, sir. Tagal na ako di gumagawa nito.
It's okay. So what you're doing, tell them that you are doing a virtual machine, a plain virtual machine, right?
Yung initial setup ko na ginawa kanina, it's I'm setting up initial virtual machine. Actually, you can host this one on the cloud. Then the reason why inassign din yung mga ports, and then yung, if you notice, it's you can actually download the file and then you can remote in using RDP.
Okay. Can you go back to the previous screen, the one that you have configurations of the parameters of the servers, the ports and everything? Right. Okay. Okay. So that we do have all the Same understanding. Okay, so in here you're setting up a virtual machine, meaning it is a box, it is a server, right? So this box or a virtual machine can be an application server, can be a database server, or a web server, correct?
Pwede, sir.
Yes, okay. So in here you are setting up, is it a free tier server or a server that you need to pay on a regular basis?
This one is yung syempre meron tayong 200 na credit. Yung initial noon, yun yung free. Pero dapat kasi if you really want, yung kunin mo is yung cheapest o yung pinakamababa yung presyo.
Okay. So because some of them attended the AWS session, because AWS session, they have a free tier. Okay. So now we are correlating it with Microsoft Azure. So if I will use Microsoft Azure and configure a virtual machine, okay, a server. So initially, I have a credit given by Microsoft, right? So that will be the one who will offset my subscription, correct? Tama ba ako? Okay. So ayun. So for example, initial creation ng account. So that for example, later on, the participant will create an account with Azure. So they have an idea that they will given certain credits for them to explore the Azure technology, correct? Then next is, okay, once they have this credit, they can explore the services. One of the services is this virtual machine creation, correct? Okay, so yan. So we just need to tell them what we are doing para makasunod sila. So that later on, when they do it, alam nila kung ano itong ginagawa nila. Okay?
Okay, sir.
It's okay. It is open to everyone to ask question. So it is more on sharing of information. Jan is expert on the configurations of Azure. So he is more a technical guy. So that's why we need to ask him what he is doing so that he can explain it well to all of us. Okay?
May mga question po ba kayo?
All right. So wala. Okay, you carry on.
Okay, wait. Let me see. Hanapin ko lang yung virtual machine na ginawa natin. Yan. Salamat po dun kay ano to. Okay, ito yung virtual machine. Sorry kailangan lang natin umaccess sa resource group. And then ito po yung virtual machine na ginawa natin under this resource. If you can see, andyan po yung deployment. Okay, nag-validate pa rin yung
pero kanina nakalamang na si Kuya Ron. Nahabol kaya o tuloy-tuloy ang lamang tatay Gomez. Average score of 90.5%.
Sorry, I'm hearing something at the background. What is that? Sorry. Would you mind to mute it?
Okay, pasensya na po mga mga ma'am.
It's okay. It's okay. Carry on.
Okay. This one is ano to, an example yung kaninang ginawa natin. Ito yung pinakaunang test resource. which is I'm still waiting na ma-provision yung ating virtual machine. Kasi tinitingnan ko dito kung nasan yung activity, yung initial setup. Ayan, nag-success na. Yung unang ginawa natin. Yung virtual machine. At hindi pa naka-provision yung virtual machine natin. Ito yung subscription natin. Ito yung unang initial subscription natin with yung account. Then, syempre, yung test account na to, ito yung ito yung subscription ID, yung ating account mismo. Ito yung subscription name where you put yung information natin. But I need to take a look nasan po yung dineploy ko na VM. Okay. Okay, to start off, okay, ito yung ini-explain ko po kanina a while ago while wait natin yung virtual machine. Ito po yung service health, which is yung information dito if ever na merong mga service issues, pwede natin makita dito. Depende kung anong region. If for example yung, since nasa US, right? Dapat is US. Check natin kung merong mga service. Sunod, syempre yung mga services, check natin kung ano mga services like yung Azure Directory, yung mga pang DevOps, yung DNS. At kung minsan, we have to check. Need to check kung merong mga recent. Yung resource group ko. Wala yung Azure ko. VM.
Okay, John.
Sir.
All right. Okay. Never mind. That is the VM, right? So meaning it is just the server that you want to show for them to see, right? Okay, it's fine. So they know already how to create a VM. Okay. So any other services that you want to share to them?
Yes, sir.
Sir, may question ako.
Yes.
Ask ko lang kung yung VM is live pag nag-create ka.
Oo,
Live
live.
po ba yan?
Live po siya, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Correct. Correct. Okay, sir. Because some, for example, sometimes VM, when you create, meron siyang default na inactive. So even though you created inactive, so it's still not accessible. So sometimes you have to manually activate it. That's why he asked the question. That's a very good question.
Okay, meron pa bang katanungan yung iba po?
Question lang, sir.
Ano po?
Sa virtual machine, sir, saan siya kalimitang ginagamit yung paggagawa ng virtual machine?
Okay. Ang virtual machine po kasi ginagamit po natin ito if for example, like sa office namin, we usually use the virtual machine for development. If may mga application na kailangan i-develop, kaysa mag-provision ka ng isang buong hardware ng server, mas mabilis i-provision ang virtual machine. Kasi syempre, magkano din ang cost ng isang server, yung hardware pa lang. And then syempre sa virtual machine, pwede mong i-manage yung resource, isa lang yung pinaka main host mo, i-manage mo lang yung resources mo like yung memory, yung hard drive, yung number of processors. Ayun po, sir.
Okay. In addition, sir, sorry, in addition, okay, as I've mentioned earlier, virtual machine is isipin mo siya yung computer mo. Okay? Siya yung PC mo, for example, para madaling maintindihan ng mga estudyante rin. Siya yung PC mo, okay? So yung PC mo, kinonfigure mo siya in a way na kung paano mo siya gagamitin. Kung gagamitin mo siya as a server, so iba yung specs niya, meaning mas malaki yung specs niya. Okay? So the VM or the machine can be your web server, can be your application server, or even a database server or email server. So, yun yung gamit ng VM. Or the VM can also be your file server. So, yun normally ang gamit ng ating VM. Okay? Gets po?
President?
Yes
Yeah,
po.
I
Yes.
have a further, this is VP Edit. I have a further question to
Yes.
John. Given that you have already set up the virtual machine on the Azure, can you tell us further what are the benefits that we're doing this, setting up the virtual machines on the Azure?
Okay.
So what can we get from this? What are the benefits? What are the features that we can get? Something
Correct.
like that.
Sige, ma'am. Kasi ang benefits po natin kapag isinet up natin sa cloud, kasi nowadays, syempre, iniisip natin yung resources. Nowadays, mga company, syempre, isipin lang natin, medyo nagtithink din kung ano yung makakatipid siya. Kasi isang setup ng isang server, abutin ka ng 100K sa Pilipinas. Depende kung ano pang yung specs mo. Ika-count mo rin yung bibilihin mong license. Siyempre, magse-set up ka pa ng backend ng network mo. And then, siyempre, magse-set up ka pa ng iyong, yung aircon nyo para mapalamig yung server. Kasi ang server, nagra-run to ng 24/7. Hindi naman to pinapatay. Except kung mga desktop lang yan, siyempre, desktop pwede natin patayin. Unlike kapag virtual machine on the cloud, like for example, yung kay Azure, i-think natin na medyo mababawasan tayo ng cost natin sa premise kasi unang-una nagpro-provision ka ng mga server kasi ang server malaki ang cost. Unlike if you're putting it on premise, mag-check ka nung yung initial cost kasi hindi biro mag-set up ng isang server. You have to think about yung license. You have to think yung network equipment mo, yung rack mo, yung air conditioning mo, electricity. Kaya if we do it sa cloud, it will cut yung mga cost natin like electricity, air conditioning. Unlike if you set up on our own yung mga ating servers, medyo mapapalaki ang cost mo. And then on the yearly basis, you have to think about yung mga costing mo every year. Did I answer it correctly, Ma'am Edith?
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
May katanungan pa po yung iba po. Wait kasi.
Any other question, guys? All right, John. Okay. Wait, yung Azure ba raw is exclusive sa Microsoft products?
Actually, ang Azure hindi siya exclusive for Microsoft products alone. meron din po tayong integration with Linux din. If you notice dun sa initial stage na ginawa ko, yes, okay. Nakikita niyo po yung screen ko po. Okay, if you notice, kapag gagawa ko ng virtual machine, another virtual machine except yung initial natin, pwede tayong gumawa ng same resource group but different virtual machine. This one is a Linux. If you notice, yung image pwede nating, depende kung ano yung OS na gagamitin mo, Windows based or Linux based. Ayan po kasi yung mga OS na pwede nating gamitin din ang virtual machine. I-set up ang virtual machine through Azure. Meron tayong Linux variants like Ubuntu, Red Hat, SUSE, CentOS, Debian, Oracle. Ayan po yung mga variants po ng OS na hindi lang nagtatay din kay Microsoft. Pwede din with partner with Linux. Other questions?
JP, question.
Apo.
JP, for the primary machine, because we have primary and secondary machine for virtual machines. So, sure ba, meron ba siyang, the same settings din ba yung secondary machine dito sa Azure? It's
Okay.
about,
Can you repeat the question, Johnny?
in case of we're creating primary virtual machines, and then sa amin kasi we have primary and secondary machine, which means the secondary, it's a backup of the primary in case primary is not working properly or there's some technical issues with the primary machine, we can use the secondary machine. Dito sa Azure, the same settings, yun ba kinukonfigure?
Pwede ka rin gumawa ng redundant virtual machine. Like for example, one primary nag-fail, pwede mong gamitin yung secondary. I-configure mo actually yun. For configuration, we have to do it here on yung Azure, and then we need to set yung mga parameters para doon.
Hello, good afternoon po.
Yes, sir.
Hello po.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir po. Yes, sir. What? Okay. Question. Meron. Okay. Wait. Let me see yung mga question niyo po. Yung last question kay Miss Patricia Jengan, what is the estimated minimum budget to start?
Ay. Walang picture yung iba.
Okay. Ang initial kasi.
Oo nga po. Amo sir, sa susunod na cycle natin, most likely next year na yan, pagka officially registered na tayo, gagawa na tayo ng parang corporate video natin. Sige po.
Okay. Question po.
Hindi ko lang kay Sir Rudel. Sir Rudel?
Okay. What is the estimated minimum budget to set up start up a server? Ang server sa Pilipinas back in 2007, tama ba? 2007 if I remember. Ang initial cost dati, yung pinaka low end is around 50,000. Hindi pa kasama dun yung OS. And then initial hard drive lang noon ay 500, hindi pa RAID. And then memory nasa 8 or 8 gig. If I remember correctly. Yun yung initial po. hope ina-answer ko po yung question nyo po. Nung 2007 pa po yun hindi po yung latest. Latest, it's depende po sa cost sa atin po. How about today, ang price? Depende kasi po sa specs ng price po ngayon yan. Kasi depende po sa local vendor. Yung basic. Kung magkano po siyang start up. Question, Sir, may Azure ba na may online courses with certificate? Meron po. Marami pong nag-o-offer din ng mga Azure courses po online. You can check Udemy. Pwede din sa Microsoft. Meron din sa Microsoft. Maraming pong mga sites actually nagbibigay ng online certificate also. Online courses with certificate. May question pa po yung iba po. Bukod po sa virtual machines, ano po pa kaya ang function ng Azure? Okay, iba po, marami pa pong ibang functions ang Azure. Cancel the virtual machines. I'll discard this one. Okay. Pwede din po kasi tayong mag-create ng web app. Pwede din po kasi tayong mag-create ng web app po. Pwede din tayong mag-create ng web app. Pwede din tayong mag-create ng SQL database sa Azure din po. Okay. Ito po ang setup po kung paano mag-create ng Azure database. Okay. Nakikita niyo po ba yung aking screen po? Yes, sir. Okay, to create a SQL database, siyempre, punta tayo sa SQL. And siyempre, mag-a-add tayo. Then, choose natin yung subscription natin. Siyempre, yung subscription 1 is yung ating unang subscription. Siyempre, maglalagay tayo ng resource group. Siyempre, ito, use natin the same resource group na ginawa natin. Lalagay natin yung name ng database. Siyempre, since this one is a new database, lalagay natin yung database name. Database name will be DB1. And siyempre, lalagay tayo ng name ng server. So, SBR DB1. Then, syempre, maglalagay po tayo ng ating yung ating SQL user. Syempre, yung password. Is minimum of 12. Location, same location. And syempre, depende yung may configure natin. Click next. Syempre, depende kung ano yung connectivity natin. For the meantime, no access muna. Then, syempre, no backup yet. Syempre, mag-initial pa lang tayo. And that tags. And syempre, ito yung pricing cost ng SQL natin. Yan, ginagawa ngayon yung database. Dapat ito kanina nagpakita. Yung notification kung ano yung state na. Makikita natin dito. Na-validate pa niya. Kung minsan, if may fail, we have to check din kung bakit. Siyempre, check natin yung logs dito. Ano pa? Question. Okay, another step. Actually, pwede din tayong gumawa ng website sa Azure. What are the features of MS that can be utilized for education? Ay, marami po. Like, for example, yung sa amin, ang gamit po namin for education is yung SharePoint, OneDrive, OneNote, at saka ang Office. Yun yung ginagamit po namin for education. It's right now we're doing yung remote learning. Gamit kasi po namin SharePoint, which is yung front end ng MS for website. And then syempre lahat ng mga students doon nilalagay sa repository ng OneDrive where all their informations nandun. How about po sa Azure? Combine actually yung dalawa for the Azure. Kasi ang Azure, it's yung front. Actually, ito yung pinaka-front. Ang pinaka-front kasi si Azure, and then tied with Office 365. Both correlate actually for the two. Magkasama sila. When we do our troubleshooting, we also check with Azure if any issues. And then the same with Office 365 because they are actually together as one. And then syempre mostly for development and then pag virtual machines is more on the Azure side. Syempre as yung gamit natin for Office 365 and SharePoint and Exchange, yung sa email ni Microsoft, is more on the software as a service natin. Question po? Natin yung ating ginagawang virtual machine. Oh, yun, ayos na po yung database. Ito po yung database natin. Pero hindi natapos yung virtual machine natin. Another thing, gagawa po ako ng panibago. Gagawa ako ng web app, ng website para makasample po tayo ng isang website. Kailangan natin pumunta sa grid. Punta tayo sa App Services. Actually, maraming gamit what's this, ang Azure. Hindi lang kasi isa. If you notice, if you see the screen, right? Ang gamit kasi namin sa office, we use this Intune. This one is more on the controlling yung mga mobile, yung mga devices natin sa office. And then, syempre, yung mga identity is yung mga identity access. Usually, nandito. Yan yung mga information na andyan po yung mga very important things. Nakikita niyo po ba yung screen ko right now? Okay. Let's see. Web. Services. Services. Source. Services. Ito, nagawa tayo ng site. Add. Siyempre, kailangan natin ng resource group. The name of the site. Let's say my RG web. Panibago, yung name ng instance natin. Name would be my Docker web app. Siyempre, depende kung ano yung gamitin natin. Let's see. Japan. Next, yung Docker. Single container. Single container and resource will be Docker. Create tayo ng isang issue website. This web app is similar to WordPress? Yes po, sir. Create naman. Create. Yan, we're initializing yung pag-create. Hindi nag-initialize yung virtual machine natin kanina. Yung database. Drag and na siya, sir. Wait. Kasi by blades kasi yung ginagawa ko kasi ganito talaga ang through Azure. Kasi I know we're familiar with the drag and drop. Okay, wait lang tayo kasi ngayon ginagawa na yung site. Then here is yung notification where makikita natin yung progress kung nasa na yung status. Kanina hindi nag-initialize yung virtual machine na ginawa ko. Okay, go to resource. Okay, ito yung initial website na ginawa ko. Ito yung website na gamit niya ay Docker. Ito yung instance. Siyempre, ito yung FTP site na pwede nating accessin yung website. Hindi ko lang sinet. Question pa po.
JP question, John question.
Hmm.
How long it will take for the creation of virtual machine? And is it synchronized? Nag-sync ba siya kagad sa server?
Yung unang ginawa natin, kasi makikita natin dito, hindi actually nag-initialize yung unang ginawa natin. Usually pag create naman ng isang virtual machine, usually it will take provisioning 5 minutes the most.
Sir, may question ako. Yung pag-create ba ng VM, may required na ilang unit ang kailangan niyang i-create?
Wala naman po, sir, kung ano to, yung number. As long as yung subscription po.
VP, I have a follow-up question on the virtual machine also. Given that na sinet up na natin siya on the Azure, what can we do on the virtual server? What are is this like we can do monitoring on the virtual machine? Can we do some patching here, or can we what are the services that we can do once we already set up the virtual machine in the Azure?
Okay, for the virtual machine, right? Diba, if you notice that I was talking about yung unang mga slides, it's yung patching. Microsoft will actually do the patching for you. Kasi ang kinukuha lang natin is yung what's this? Yung subscription nila, they will do the updating.
Okay, and what else can we do once we set up this virtual machine in Azure?
Actually, there are a lot of things actually yung pwede mong gamitin dito. Ginagamit ito if, for example, we want to host or we want to set up a server on the cloud that users can actually remote in. Then we can actually use it for our development. So, yun yung kasing ginagawa sa Azure. We use it for development. And syempre, yung mga mobile apps, pwede din natin gawin din sa Azure. AI also, and machine learning. Web apps. I'm looking for yung aking, wala yung customization ko. Dashboard. My dashboard. Other questions po? Okay, kung wala po kayong questions, I will going to continue with another slide. Okay. Okay, this one is more on the certification ng MS. Nakikita niyo po ba yung screen ko? Okay. Ito pong website na na-clinic ko. Ito po yung Microsoft website. Depends on the technology base that you're going to push through with Azure. Kasi maraming certification din ang Azure.
Sir, hindi po siya nag-click dun sa website.
Oh. Here. Ito po. Okay, ito po yung website where you can actually check yung mga role-based certification ng Microsoft. There are other, like for example, certifications like Power Platform, AI, IoT, data analyst, database administrator ng Azure, meron ding certified associate, meron ding ito po yung website where you can actually get yung information on Azure certification. Depends on which technology you want to focus on. Okay, for me, because actually I'm doing more on the yung more on the messaging side. Kaya konti lang yung medyo tackle ko sa Azure is more on the sa messaging. And then marami ding features kasi ang Azure, hindi lang naman sa development. Merong AI, may security, meron ding consultant, yung Dynamics, meron din yung Teams or yung SharePoint, meron din yung modern desktop. Maraming certifications ang Azure if you're going to push through. Okay, any more questions before I hand it over again?